you've always said, now you've read poems, but you said that you preferred theater and that in your heart you were a playwright.
Yes.
Why is that? Why is theater so suited? Is it because you like the dialogues? Is it because you like it as a mobilization instrument?
Well, first of all, I grew up in a highly theatrical society. Again, Yoruba theater, sorry. And I witnessed the ancestral masquerades when they perform. You know, we have both the sacred and the profane, secular masquerades, and they would perform. And then there was Yoruba traveling theater, Hubert Ogunde, the Ghana traveling theater, for instance. Theater was, you know, flowing across borders in West Africa. And as a child, I performed. My father was a school teacher, was a headmaster, and he volunteered me for one of his very early productions called The Magician. I still remember some of the tunes, and I played the magician at that time. And I found that when you're on stage, there's a kind of communication which doesn't exist, you know, in other art forms, whether paintings. Perhaps the nearest is music, of course, but again, that's very different. Music tends to be depersonalized, whereas theater is very human. You can feel the emotions of people on stage. And there's a sense of one-to-one communication, you know, I exaggerate, of course. So the theater spoke to me very early as a kind of medium in which I would love to operate. That is, if I didn't become a pilot, if I didn't become a sailor, if I didn't become a lawyer, if I didn't become a doctor, if I didn't become everything I wanted to become. So you
became a lot. You became a hunter. You became a winemaker.
No, not a maker, consumer.
Consumer? No.
Yeah.
I've seen pictures of you trying to teach winemaking to one of your grandchildren or children.
Well, that's the other side. I have a teaching streak in me. The subject just happens to be wine, that's all. But I enjoy teaching.
And what about hunting? Your son, your first son, he told in an interview that you took his pet away because it was a pet in the form of a snake. For you, a hunter,
what's wrong with hunting?
Why would you take his pet away? Because it was a snake. You shouldn't be scared of it.
Why wouldn't I take what away? Sorry.
His pet. He was a child. And he tells that at one day he was playing with a pet in the form of a snake. As if you would be scared. You, the Aparo king.
I don't know. Maybe part of it was... I was very much afraid of snakes when I was a child. Yep. So that could be why I was attracted to the idea of killing them, because they made me afraid. But seriously, though, I think just the bush has a lot to do. It's 90% of it. Sometimes, say, I'm taking my gun for a walk. Whether I come back empty-handed or not is immaterial.
Without the gun or without meat, game?
Without game. It doesn't matter at all. I just enjoy being in the forest. As you know, my home is inside the forest. It's where I feel at home. Very tranquil, very peaceful. I hate what I do to them, the animals, but if they're careless enough to get in my way, it means dinner. Don't you eat meat?
I do.
Well,
with wine.
Red wine.
Yes.
So I just enjoy being in the bush, and I also enjoy the fraternity. As I grew up and I would go out with the traditional hunters, I enjoyed the fraternity. I enjoyed the rituals which accompanied group hunting before setting out. When you kill an animal, there's a kind of homage which you pay to it. There's a small ritual which you must perform. The four-legged ones, especially, not the birds. You just take those home and kill them and cook them.
You go hunting with friends or with children or with...
No, I've made sure that I've inducted all my children in the bush. Not that I forced them to come with me, but I made sure that they had a taste of what it's like just to be in the bush by themselves, and then it's up to them whether they want. I think the last time they visited on holidays, I assumed that they would enjoy honey. So I said, well, did you bring your shoes and so on? And I noticed that there wasn't the same level of enthusiasm as before. And they sort of dawdled along to please the old man, I suppose. After that, I've never asked them out. You know that they wanted to be back playing those
shooting games. Shooting games.
Yeah. Something. And these things these games which they play.
Pokemon.
I mean, they frightened me. My son frightened me one day because I woke up in the middle of the night and there he was shouting. So I thought he was having a nightmare. I went there. He was playing with somebody in Uzbekistan. Very strange generation. Strange generation. Thank you very much.